another episode of the Sports Playbook, where I'll give you a rundown of what's been happening in the world of sport over the last 7 days. You're joined by your host D-Moz. Once again, there has been a ton of action in the world of sport, so let's not waste any time. The clock is ticking, and let's get right into it. In basketball, Caitlin Clark stars in her return from injury. The one and only Caitlin Clark proved why she's one of the most dominant players in the WNBA right now. Clark, who was returning from injury, scored an impressive 32 points in her return. Playing at home in front of the Indiana Fever fans, she had a first quarter blitz. Clark had a 38-second sequence of perfection. 3 3-pointers. Clark had the capacity crowd rocking. Clark scored 25 points just in the first half alone. What a time to be watching the WNBA. Also in basketball, OKC Thunder take the lead in the final series against Indiana Pacers. In Game 3, the Pacers won 116 to 107. The defense from the Pacers was what won them the match in the end. In Game 4, the Thunder won 111 to 104. But this was the Pacers' game to lose and go up 3-1 in the series, but OKC Thunder came out on top. But in Game 5 that was held today, on Tuesday the 17th of June, the Thunder have beaten the Pacers, 120 to 109. Jalen Williams from OKC Thunder scored a career high of 40 points in a postseason match. OKC Thunder take the lead 3-2 in the NBA Finals series. In netball, the Giants stunned the Lightning to win back-to-back games. For the Giants, it's the first time in 2 seasons that they've won back-to-back matches. The defensive duo of Erin O'Brien and Casey Kapua were on fire. O'Brien led with 7 games, and Kapua was closely behind with 5. Amy Sliger had an impressive game too, 4 gains and 4 deflections. With the win, the Giants take themselves off the bottom of the ladder from 8th to 6th, and they're now sitting on 12 points. In the other matches, the Melbourne Vixens beat the New South Wales Swifts 70 to 68. The West Coast Fever beat the Melbourne Mavericks by 6 points, 69 to 63, and the Adelaide Thunderbirds beat the Queensland Firebirds by 7 points. The Queensland Firebirds now sit at the bottom of the Suncorp Super Netball ladder. The Swifts and the Fever are tied on 32 points at the top of the Super Netball ladder. They are closely followed by the Lightning and the Vixens. In golf, J.J Spaun wins his first major tournament at the US Open. Spaun recovered from 5 bogeys in the early rounds, but Spaun was able to keep his composure, and he won his first major title with a 64-foot putt in the pouring rain. Spaun won in front of his wife and 2 kids that were watching in the crowd. Australian Adam Scott was well within the fight until the treacherous conditions turned at the US Open. Scott was unable to capitalise on the opportunity, and he finished in equal 12th position. In cricket, South Africa win the World Test Championship at Lords. The Proteas are the world champions for the first time in their history, and they finally get their hands on ICC silverware. South Africa's opener, Ada Markram, scored an impressive 136 in the second innings to secure the victory for the Proteas. For the Aussies, this is definitely one that got away, and there's a lot of questions being asked about the top of the batting order right now. Mitch Starc scored impressive 58 not out in the second innings, but he was the highest Australian scorer for that second innings. Alex Carey was closely followed behind with 43. But it was not nearly enough of a big score to put up against South Africa. Australia will tour the West Indies for the first time in a decade, with the first of the tests starting on June 25th. In AFL, Geelong marched up to second on the AFL ladder. Up against the Essendon Bombers, Geelong thrashed the Bombers by 95 points. Jeremy Cameron from Geelong finished the game with 6 goals, and Shannon Neal was closely followed behind with 4 goals of his own. In other games, it was the big sound. I'll stop there. beat the defending premiers, the Brisbane Lions, by 9 points at the Gabba in Queensland. Jesse Hogan from the Giants also scored 6 goals in this match, closely followed behind by his teammate Aaron Cadman with 5 goals of his own. At the end of round 14 in the AFL, Collingwood remain on top in the ladder, followed by Geelong, the Lions, and the Adelaide Crows. In the NRL, Adam Reynolds knocks back a West Tigers offer to stay in Brisbane. The 34-year-old has made a family decision to stay at Red Hill and with the Brisbane Broncos. There was apparently an offer from the West Tigers of $1.5 million over the next 2 years. However, for Reynolds, he has 4 young children, and I'm sure it would be quite unsettling moving them back to Sydney after already making the move to Brisbane in the first place. There was the possibility of Adam Reynolds reuniting with former teammate Benji Marshall, where they played together for the Rabbitohs in 2021. The Broncos deal is yet to be signed by Adam Reynolds, but it's rumoured that it's a 1-year extension deal with the potential for Reynolds to have a coaching role at the Brisbane Broncos. And with that, we will take a short break, and after, get into your burning rubber breakdown. It's time for the burning rubber breakdown. Let's burn it up. In Formula 1, George Russell wins the Canadian Grand Prix. George Russell started on pole alongside his best friend Max Verstappen. George Russell got into turn 1 first, and he led the rest of the race from here. But the big talking point to come out of this race was papaya rules. It was both the McLaren drivers making contact with 3 laps to go in the race. On lap 66, Lando Norris dived down the inside of Oscar Piastri going into the final hairpin. Both cars headed down the back straight, side by side. Piastri went into the final corner ahead of Norris. Along the front straight, Norris gained momentum and was catching Piastri, but Norris went for a gap that wasn't there. Norris made contact with the back of Piastri's car, and Norris was out of the race. But Piastri was able to get to the end of the race, secure 4th place and 12 points, which means his run of 8 podiums in a row is over. But the other big talking point was Kimi Antonelli scoring his first podium in Formula 1 with a 3rd place finish. Antonelli becomes the 3rd youngest driver to stand on the podium, and for Mercedes, it was a double podium in a great day out in Canada. In the World Endurance Championship, former Formula 1 driver Robert Kubica wins the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The former Renault, Sauber and Williams driver took the Ferrari hypercar to victory at Le Mans. The number 83 Ferrari started from 13th place, which is the 3rd lowest position a car has won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But it was Ferrari's 3rd straight outright victory. In 2012, Kubica actually signed a deal to race for Ferrari Formula 1 team, but during the off-season, he was rally driving and had a crash that almost claimed his life. For Kubica, it was a full circle moment, and to win for Ferrari at Le Mans. That is your burning rubber breakdown for the week, and now it's time to get into your fast fact for a pub chat. It's time to pull yourself a chair and pour yourself a drink. It's this week's fast fact for a pub chat. This week's fast fact is in the land of NRL, and I think it's quite a fascinating one. Did you know that the Warriors, for the first time in their 30-year history, have not lost a game in New South Wales in season 2025? We're over halfway in the NRL season, so what do you think? Can the Warriors hold on to this remarkable record? That is this week's Fast Fact for a Pub Chat. And now it's time for our final segment. It's the Playbook Planner. Here are some games to look forward to this weekend. And the first game, it's a big one. It's State of Origin Game 2. Everything's on the line. For the Blues, they're going for the series win. For Queensland, they're trying to keep the series alive. It will be held on Wednesday, the 18th of June, kick-off at 8:05 p.m. You can watch this on Channel 9 or 9 Now. In the AFL, Geelong will take on the Brisbane Lions on Friday, the 20th of June at 7:40pm. You can catch this on Channel 7, KO or Foxtel. In netball, the Fever will host the Thunderbirds, but listen to this, netball fans, it's a Friday match at 8pm. That's right, it's primetime viewing for netball fans. You can catch this on KO, Foxtel or Binge. In the NRL, the Warriors will go up against the Panthers on Saturday the 21st of June at 3pm. You can catch this on KO and Foxtel. In the netball, it's the battle of the top four. It's the Lightning taking on the Vixens. On Saturday the 21st of June at 5pm. You can also catch this on KO, Foxtel or Binge. In the AFL, the Giants will go up against the Gold Coast Suns on Sunday the 22nd of June at 1:10 in the afternoon. You can catch this on Channel 7, Foxtel or KO. In the NRL, the Broncos take on the Sharks on Sunday the 22nd of June at 2pm. You can catch this on Foxtel or KO Sports. In the netball, it's the Sydney Derby. It's the Swifts up against the Giants. It'll be held on Sunday the 22nd of June at 2pm. You can catch this, you guessed it, on KO, Foxtel and Binge. And finally, in Supercars, they are heading to Darwin for the Triple Crown. The main race will be held on Sunday the 22nd of June at 12:30pm. You can catch this on KO or Foxtel. And with that, we have come to the end of today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you on the next play.